we got a deck profile for you today. We have a pretty unique profile, as you can see by the deck list on the screen, that one of our players at a preliminary play, well, not one of our players, but a Gulf Coast local. His name's Eric. If you want to introduce yourself, Eric.
Hey, what's up, guys?
He came with a pretty unique Cheelai Limo deck. None of that Victory Strike nonsense. So let's just jump right into it. What made you want to play this deck, Eric?
Well, actually, Shane, and I went to a tournament in Hattiesburg the weekend before this, and on the way back, we kind of discussed what cards are not being utilized that can really affect the format, and a Kind Wish came up. The fact that it can, tuck Path to Greatness, and a lot of other, annoying barrier cards, and just, give you a lot of value in general. So it kind of stemmed from there, and I went in and looked at all the green leaders that were available to run this card, and Cheelai and Limo really stood out as something that could be a powerhouse.
I believe she's the only Wish leader that can play it, correct? Because it's just limited to a green Goku's lineage, or a green, no, excuse me, a green.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Frieza's
Actually, green
army.
Frieza army.
But she's the
true.
only Wish leader that can do it, right?
Exactly, the only Wish leader.
So playing it for free is pretty incredible.
Yes, exactly.
Well, that makes sense. So it kind of stemmed from there, and I guess you just went with the idea like what was the best Broly target to bring out, and then all the other pieces kind of fell into line.
Yeah, I really wanted to use some of the new expansion pack stuff. It seemed really strong, and there were a lot of different decks trying to utilize it, like the mono red Gogeta leader and things like that, and it didn't feel very fluid. We're being able to bring out the 4-drop basically for free, wipe your board, make you discard a card, and I draw a card, all for basically free, and then immediately be able to evolve into the 5-drop. Just felt really strong and hard to remove by your opponent. So
yeah, for sure. I mean, I felt it firsthand how powerful that deck can be, especially when it gets going. It feels like a mid-range, almost control strategy in that, you just kind of hold back the wave of aggression in the first few turns, and then once you hit 4 energy, you're able to very easily control what can enter play and what can't, especially with unique card choices like Crusher Ball.
yeah, absolutely. And able to what you need to evolve that turn to the 5-drop Broly is 2 green and a red, which always leaves you 1 yellow open to defend, whether it be Cold Bloodlust or Crusher Ball or whatever you need at that moment. But yeah, it's really a strong play line, and then the turn after that, you usually either win or you get very close to winning.
So we have a really unique set of circumstances for this leader too, in that it's a Frieza's army leader, it's green, and it's a Wish leader. So that gives us access to Paragus Super Combo, which is probably one of the best super combos in the game, Shocking Death Ball, a Kind Wish, Cold Bloodlust, and the fact that it's a Wish leader gives us access to Demigra because we have enough black cards. Because the ultimate for this particular deck doesn't matter.
Exactly.
Like sometimes you can fetch out 2 super combos and maybe that matters, but usually just playing Demigra is better.
Yeah, I never used the ultimate on Cheelai Limo. I just sat back and waited for the Demigod to show up and won the game.
Yep, that's exactly how it happened. But other than that, what's the primary strategy for your deck?
You really want to see a dual color card in your opening hand. That's probably the most crucial part. That, and you want to kind of hard mulligan for an oob, because it's kind of hard to awaken without that oob. That oob is crucial for speeding you up. Only pulling 1 ball per turn is really hard to get going.
Taking 7 turns to awaken is a little too slow in this format.
yeah. And I did have 1 match where that happened, and I died unawakened, and it really felt bad. So
I'd almost hoped that would happen when we played in our 3rd game, but not quite. Just got there right on time.
yeah, it really worked out well. So, but yeah, you really want to charge that dual color turn 1 when it's not really important to have 1 up, and then from there the SS Broly, the 2-drop Unforeseen Force on turn 2 just provides so much value. Even if they don't have a target to kill, being able to dig too deep at the end of turn, and then still having to discard 1, but it helps you find your balls faster. It helps you find your answers that you may need, and being able to 2-for-1 your opponent is always good if they have a 1 and 2 drop, or even even a 3-drop at at most.
I
There was
found.
a time. Oh, go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
No, I was just going to say there was a turn right. I was able to cold bless a path to greatness and then immediately play this to kill it at the end of turn. So it felt pretty good.
Oh,
Um,
because you cold bloodlusted it didn't have barrier anymore.
exactly, exactly. So end of turn, SS Broly comes out, pops it. I draw 2, pitch 1, and I put him back a turn, trying to go up to
Huh.
the victory strike line. So it worked out
Yeah,
really
that's
well.
pretty impressive. The card, from what I saw, actually performed incredibly well in every aspect that it like what it's designed for. Was there ever any situations where you felt like maybe you had too many of the card, or were you always happy to see it?
No, it was always good. Even late game, just the ability to dig a little bit is always good.
Yeah, draw power I think is always a fantastic thing.
Yeah, it
Being
honestly
double green,
felt
I
like
guess, could be
in
a little
early.
awkward.
Yeah, that it can be, but you really want to start off with 2 green and then
Right.
charge a yellow your turn 3, so you have a little protection. It really felt like you're running 4 Paraguses, having this card in there as well.
That's
You
fair.
know,
And I guess that also
yeah.
helps set up some of your other factors, like Cheelai only getting back a Broly when you awaken, or
Exactly.
setting up like a world peace play potentially, stuff like that.
Yeah, there was a lot of times where I would just discard the 5-drop Broly and then get it right back when I awakened.
Right.
Yeah, it was really, really strong lines of play.
So I don't suppose you were ever in a situation where you needed to arrive with the Gogeta. He was just there for red green energy.
There was one turn that I actually brought him out that way, um, but most of the time he was just turn 1 energy.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I really, if I could run 8 sources, I would try to squeeze another one in there because it's really crucial turn 1. You don't want to have to charge a dual color card late in the game just to turn on your other cards. It feels
Right.
bad.
Yeah, and that is kind of odd. I mean, and I see like when it comes to spots like flexible spots, the only choices you really have are like Dragon Raider or World Peace.
Exactly.
And even then,
Exactly.
like cutting down to one of either of those just feels like it's not worth it to even
Yeah, at
play the
that
card at
point,
that point.
yeah, just cut it all together and go a different route. Yep.
Right. Um, let's see. Tell me about some of your matchups against some of the meta decks in the format. How you fared against them, what you maybe would change to have a better matchup into decks like Hide Mastery, Victory Strike, Skillless, Veku Ramp if you played against that. If you have that experience to share with us.
Well, I only really played against 2, or I guess 3 meta decks. 2 Kid Coup. One was blue and one was yellow, and then one Victory Strike in my last round. Which that one, it's hard to say because my matchups were so one-sided towards him. I didn't get awakened one match, and then the other match I just didn't see any of my wish cards, so I wasn't able to tuck stuff away. The highlight was definitely the Cold Bloodlust into the Super Saiyan Broly. One thing I will say, I would like to fit in 2 of the Quick Shift Krillin, because there's times when you draw all of your 4-drop Brolys, and you can't really take full advantage of a Kind Wish.
Oh, that's
You really
fair.
want to have a way to tuck those guys back in, or even some of the dual color cards. If you've already have your energy set up, you don't really want to see them a lot. You want to get those back
So
into the deck.
with this leader, it wouldn't be Quick Shift Krillin because that's a black leader.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But the similar effect. I forget which battle card it is.
Oh gosh, yeah, I can't even remember which one.
But we know what you're talking about. The
Yeah,
one
yeah.
cost combo, shuffle card back, draw 2.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. And I could see that, yeah, because a Kind Wish only gets it out of your deck, correct?
That is correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I
Um,
whiffed a couple times, having them either in life or in energy.
and I can
things
see
like
how not getting a Kind Wish on curve against the Victory Strike deck can be very difficult. From what I understand, it's still usually not even effective enough if you don't go first.
that's absolutely correct. It just doesn't do anything at that point because they've
Right.
already got they're done their turn 4 plays.
Right.
So
And I
yeah.
guess there is a line where, with the addition of Mutaito coming out soon, and some people may already have the card, that could make a big difference in the functionality of these yellow splash decks, because I don't believe Mutaito has a leader restriction.
Yeah, I think you're correct. I think you're correct.
Aside from Victory Strike, how is your skillless matchup?
The first one against the blue skillless, it felt strong. There's so many in deck answers. between the being able to cold bloodlust their one drops so they can't go get balls and prevent their drawing early, to crusher balling when they try to bring out the three drop from the deck or drop area, and then even the shocking death balls. They play a Krillin, you allow it to resolve, then you negate one attack and then kill the card they brought back.
It's
there's a
almost
lot
like
of
you
just
bloodlusted it, but you got to kill the Krillin in the process, or
yeah,
something like
exactly.
that, you know?
It feels like with one card you were able to almost time walk your opponent.
Right.
And a lot of times, I know playing against you in your yellow version, you played the Trunks that brought out a vanilla and gave it crit, and I crusher balled that. So then you only had the vanilla overwhelm card to attack with.
Right.
So there's a lot of I feel like at main board it has a lot of answers to Vanilla Coup. I hate to say it, my turn one or my first match was against another homebrew, which is a really cool build, a Shinron and Destruction, but it was a fairly easy matchup.
Right. I mean, the deck draws so many cards, it's hard to destroy the hand, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then there's stuff you won't want in the drop, so it's really not a big deal. So it went Shinron game one, blue Vanilla Coup, yellow Vanilla Coup. Against my fourth round though was against a cell deck that was very interesting. It was also hand destruction,
But
which
it had
two
the
mercenary
lemon
towels
lime
came
engine,
in.
right?
Yeah, exactly. It was really unique, and I was really happy he was doing well with that deck. But Tal just shut that match down, and
We might be able to have a deck profile for that as well if
oh,
we
I
can
hope you
get
do.
together with Bubba.
Oh, it was very, very cool deck. I was really happy he built that.
He went 3-2 if I remember correctly, right?
Mm-hmm, yep.
Yeah, he didn't do badly, and this was a deck with 5-drop and 7-drop cell in it, so.
Yep, surprisingly.
Right.
Yep. Yeah, it was really cool. And then my only loss was the last round against.
Right, and like you said, it just kind of didn't go the way you wanted it to.
Yeah.
And that does happen.
And he may have won the round anyway, but it'd have been nice if my deck had functioned against him.
So, something interesting about your sideboard here. We have 4 Broly Paralyzing Presence and 4 Broly Demonic Intimidation. What was your thought process behind these in the sideboard?
Well, I was really hoping to get to face a Janemba deck, because my plan was bring out all of the dual color cards and the 4-drop Broly
So that's 11
Rampaging
cards.
Rush cards, and then bring in these 4 Brolys, or I should say 8 Broly and the 3 TM.
Okay.
And do a completely transformative sideboard.
Yeah.
I just thought it'd be something kind of interesting to try. Early on in the game, when we didn't have as many silver bullet cards and all these things that we needed to prepare for, all these different decks, we were able to actually have really transformative sideboards, and I kind of wanted to bring that back and just try something different.
Right.
I didn't have a chance to do that, but in theory, I'd like to try that again.
Yeah, it seems like a pretty solid strategy. How is your starter Broly matchup?
It's okay. I did a couple of test games, and if they went too quickly into the secret rare, it was tough.
Right, like most matchups.
Yeah, it really was. But if I got to turn 4, even to if I could land an early cold bloodlust or crusher ball on something to keep them from attacking,
slow them down a little bit.
That's all you'd really need, just a little speed bump. And then turn 4 take over the game.
And then you have really good removal in the 4-drop Broly and the and a Kind Wish. Being like a Kind Wish can kill their first part of their chain, and then unfortunately you missed on timing with your 4-drop Broly to kill something else because your autos have to resolve first.
Exactly.
But the fact that you can also just hard cast this card to kill something or bring it back with World Peace.
And also that's why I had Father Son Kamehameha on the sideboard too. I thought that would be a decent answer to what Broly's trying to do.
Yeah,
so.
I could even see a spot where you play a Super Saiyan Broly for 4 energy with 5 open, right? And you kill one of their things. In response to their thing being killed, you bloodlust it, so they get their next level, and then you can play a Kind Wish for free, permanently killing their chain.
Yep.
So that is pretty impressive. Yeah, for sure. Is there any other matchup specifically that you wanted to talk about?
Not necessarily. I would like to get more testing against Janemba. I feel like it would have a fairly decent matchup. I'd really have to be careful with my draw cards. Like the 2-drop Broly. I really won't want to dig further with that. But I think Janemba, I would need some more testing against. But other than that, I really feel like it has a good matchup against most of the meta. It's
Yeah,
got a lot of main deck answers for things that are going on.
right. Like, and there are weird draws where you could be really aggressive, but that's not really the goal of the deck. It definitely looks more like a control strategy that just grinds your opponent out and finishes with powerful cards like the 5-drop Broly and the Demigra.
Yep, that's it. That's exactly right.
If there was any changes you had to make to the list, either the main board or the sideboard, is there anything that comes to mind?
Yeah, definitely 2 bad ring lasers.
I could see that, yeah.
I meant to put 2 in the side. I honestly dug and dug and dug through all my commons and uncommons, couldn't find them.
I guess you would put those in over maybe the Father Son and the Crusher Ball.
More than likely, yeah. More than likely, that would be the way to go. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Well, that
You
makes
got it.
sense. Let's go over your sideboard other than the Demonic Intimidations. We kind of touched on everything, but I'm assuming Father Son is for your Broly BR matchup, and it's actually not the worst against Skillless if you absolutely needed it. It can kill their 2-drop or their 3-drop on curve. And Crush Ball, it seems like you just bring it in against the aggressive decks that want to try to
I just
put
want to
big
slow them
guys
down.
out.
Yeah, I want to live till turn 4, and that really helps having extra cards like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Tau seems like an odd inclusion in your sideboard, considering generally when it comes to hand destruction strategies, they already have a hard time versus decks that draw a lot of cards. And being a Wish deck, it seems like that's something you already do, right? So what was the mindset behind adding Tau to the sideboard?
Well, I was really worried about not seeing
Oob.
a lot of basic balls.
Oh,
early.
yeah,
And
for
if I
sure.
had to use Oob just to tuck the balls straight from deck to drop, I really wouldn't be drawing as many cards as you
Right.
think.
I remember when playing against you, often you would play the Oob and only dump one ball at a time, especially if you had multiples, or you would play the first one, dump a ball, and then search for a ball with your leader, and then on the next Oob you would dump like 1 or 2 or whatever was needed for you to awaken at that time.
Exactly, and I was using that against Skillless more to control your 1-drops.
Right.
I had multiple Oobs in hand, so yeah, I didn't want to dump all the balls because I still wanted to draw the next turn from just the free go get a ball.
And if
draw
you
a
don't have any
card.
balls left, you can't trigger Oob's skill to pop a 1-drop, so that makes sense.
Exactly. So I really slow rolled a lot of my Oobs just because I knew that next turn I could awaken if I had to drop another Oob.
Well, I think you played fantastically. It was a fun weekend. I had a lot of fun playing against you, and I'm excited to see you do well with a unique strategy. At least I find it to be unique. You got third place and got your invite to the closed regional
Yep.
for the following month. And do you have anything else you want to say on closing?
Oh no, that's about it. Just if you see the deck tech, definitely sleeve it up, try it out. It's a lot of fun. If you have any suggestions, send them over. I'm more than happy to try out different cards and different strategies with this build.
All right, well, that's going to be it. Thank you, everybody. This was Marcus with the G&G Elite Dragon Ball Super Team, and we had Eric as a guest today talking about this deck that he did a very good job with. And we'll see you next time.